Turn to page 41 for content diagrams. Content diagrams are, again, another type of front-loading activity, a language development activity focusing on expository writing or informational explanatory writing. Specifically here, we're looking at descriptive informational writing. This is when we're writing a description for information. So let's walk through the process. Remember, I had, for the previous lecture notes and categories, we had whole to part for our hand signal. For sequencing, beginning, end, what happened in the middle. Now my hand signal when we're doing a description is draw a picture. So you take your finger and act like you're drawing the picture. So we do draw a picture, label the parts, so we point to the parts, add fancy words, which is as if we're shaking the salt and pepper shaker to add fancy words, and then tell the function of the parts to make it a truly not just a description, but a description for information. You have to describe the parts and tell the function. The function is actually going to make it informational. So when we talk about the function of the parts, after we've described them, we're either going to tell why they're important, how they work, or what they do. So when we look at the function of the parts, we're looking at why they're important, how they work, or what they do. What's their job? And that's a little bit easier for kids to understand than just the word function. So again, our hand signal for a description, draw a picture, label the parts, add fancy words, and tell the function of the parts. Let's try that again. Draw a picture, label the parts, add fancy words, and tell the function of the parts. You'll notice I have up on the top a section, and I want you to sort of draw a line like that because this is going to be our big idea. So I still need to start with a big idea. And then down below, this is information about the big idea. This is the description. And what does the description have? We're going to describe the parts and tell the function of the parts. So if you notice, up here on the top is the big idea. The big idea for a description is actually a definition. So I have here pigs, and then I put an equal sign, are farm animals. When we did this I had a blank piece of paper and I had the kids go, big idea. I told them we're going to be learning about a pig. I'm going to describe to you a pig. And then I had the kids go, big idea. And then they put their hands like this, like it's an equal sign, and they go, define it. What is a pig? Thank you for that big idea and asking me for a definition. So I wrote pigs, and then over here I drew a little picture with a drop box, and I wrote hog, swine. I gave them other words for pigs. And then I have an equal sign, and I went, oh, pigs, those are farm animals. So now we went, pigs, maybe you can put your face like this, like it's a snout. Pigs are, and then maybe we'll put a farm. Pigs are farm animals. You do that. Ready, everyone? Go. Pigs are farm animals. So we orally rehearsed it again, and I'm not going to do this for the whole piece because I just want you to know that you can do this. You can go back and you can put your capital and you can put your period if you want to add the punctuation. That we have our big idea. What do? We say, we have our big idea. Check. We know our definition. Pigs are farm animals. Now what do we need? Information, information, information about pigs. And what do we need? We need to draw a picture, label the parts, and tell the function of the parts. Why? Because it's a definition. So I went and drew a picture of a pig. Then I labeled the parts. So you'll notice when I label the parts, I do this just like when I'm doing vocabulary. I'm going to put the parts, small eyes, with a drop box. Here's our big idea. Pigs are farm animals. Now we have the body. So this would be a blank piece of paper. And what are we going to do first? Draw a picture. Draw a picture of what? A pig. Then what are we going to do? Label the parts. So notice over here I have small eyes. I'm going to write small eyes and put a circle around it with a drop box. So the circle has the eyes. I'm labeling the part. Then I'm adding fancy words, small. And then here is the function. So let's fill in these areas. What do? This is going to label the parts. So I labeled eyes. label part. Then we're going to add fancy words, so I'm going to describe the part. Then over here, I'm going to tell the function in the drop box. And I'm going to go around and repeat that for all the different parts of the pig. So notice we had flat nose. What's the function? To find food by smell. As we go through, we're going to add all the different parts by labeling them, describing, and then their function. Then we orally rehearse all this information together, and the kids are practicing it with me. And this happens to be an example of a student's writing. And again, if your children are not writers yet, you don't need to have them write it out. The language piece is absolutely critical so that when they eventually become writers, they can just write it out. It's really the language piece that's critical in writing. So when we look at what this child did, who now is a writer, they were able to say it. So then what did I do? I had them go write. And they said, pigs or hogs are animals from a farm. They have flat snouts to smell and find food. They have curly and short tails because others bite them. The hair on their body is stiff, hard bristles. The hooves are like hard nails that cover and protect their toes. So we had all of our information here. By the way, typically after each one of these boxes, you could put a period if you want to. That's usually where a complete sentence is. This is a content diagram. Those are your steps. The top part is your big idea. The bottom, you draw a picture, label the parts, and tell the function of the parts. Absolutely critical for giving kids vocabulary, content vocabulary, embedded into information so that they're using the vocabulary in a fluent way, not just in a separate list to identify what these words mean.